Welcome, welcome, thank you for turning up, thank you for taking this time to turn up. For those who I've not met, I'm Paula Adams. I've been helping women over the last 15 years connect and listen to their intuition and live their life from that place. And it's been a real honour to see the growth and the changes that can happen when we do this. So I've got some notes here, just in case I forget something really important. I mean, all of this is important, I just don't want to forget anything, so please forgive me if I look down. And the reason why I'm giving this live video is because I've had an aha, I've had a visceral experience of the difference between our instinct, our intuition and our ego, and I wanted to share it with you because the nuances are very subtle, and for me it gives me a choice. I actually have a choice now where to live my life from. And many women are struggling right now in this world that we're finding ourselves in, and to be able to anchor into our inner world and come from a place within will change will transform your world so much. I can't tell you how much it's transformed mine. So I want to know that there's no judgment whatsoever here, whether you are coming from your intuition, your instinct or your ego. There's no judgment. That's just it. We are being present with what's happening. So we're taking it completely out of right and wrong, and we're coming from, this is what's happening. Okay, I have a choice. What do I want to choose? And so just to give you some more information about our instinct, it comes from the three chakras beneath our heart. So our solar plexus, if you like, that energy center, the energy center between our hips and our perineum. So these three chakras, we share these chakras with the animal world, because we are still animals. And this is, so when we get gut instinct, then we have to rely, there is no way of doubting it, we just rely on it. I had a friend who was driving through a crossroads with traffic lights, and she drove through a red light, and she just knew that she had to turn the steering wheel and slide sideways so that she didn't hit the car that was coming across full on. And that's also happened to me. It snowed a couple of years ago and I hit some black ice, and I knew that gut instinct to turn the steering wheel opposite to where I was going and not to hit the brakes. It was just so visceral in my body that's what I did. The only thing is, this instinct comes without consciousness, so it's not great in everyday life. You know, to be this reactive doesn't serve us and the way that we live our life. And it's also taxing on our adrenals, which are really important for women. These little glands on top of the kidneys that secrete lots of hormones, and they work really hard. And if we're in this continual fight or flight or freeze, then they never recover, because we've forgotten how to shake after a traumatic experience. So that's gut instinct, that is animal, you listen to it, you have no choice. So then feel the difference between that and what I say next, our intuition. Our intuition is based here in our heart, in our throat, in our sixth energy center, and the crown of our head. And these are finer, they're more refined, the energy is more refined, and therefore it's very subtle to pick up. And we have to, as I've spoken before, we have to employ certain tactics to be able to listen to them. So to slow down, to ease the mind chatter in our minds, however we do that. Making an intention every day to listen to these higher whispers, if you like, of our soul, and making a commitment to hone this area of ourselves. So I use my intuition all the time in my work. I'm living it absolutely with my clients. And when I'm not working, I use situations that don't have dire consequences if my intuition is a little off, let's say. And so I use it when I'm, say, walking Twiglet in the woods, and I come to a fork and I intuit, I follow my intuition, right or left, or I want to go towards the north or the south. I trust it, I hone it all the time, I'm listening to it all the time. When I'm driving, if I'm not quite sure where I'm going, I will listen to my intuition and rely on it and trust it, and out of, everything that you could possibly do with the intention and the commitment and trusting it. These are the continual practices that I employ in my everyday life to allow this part of me space in which to inform me. And part of that is also noticing the outer synchronicities that are happening around me. When I'm in this space, when I'm open, when I'm receiving, and I notice the outer synchronicities, and they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, things happen that I couldn't even make up, I couldn't even imagine they happen. And it's this, when we're in this space, we're connected to the whole of life, we're connected to something bigger than us. It's the transpersonal world. And here is such wisdom that can come through us, come through our own internal filters, our own flavour, and come out as the intuition that's you. You have your own separate way of intuiting and picking things up. So I wonder whether you can feel the difference between the lower, the chakras in our first, second and third energy centres, and then the intuition that we're getting from here. So our gut instinct and our intuition, because it's quite, once you focus on it, it's quite something. So just take a few moments to feel into that. And it's not about the different ways of intuiting. It's a focusing on something that's greater than us, and is there for us at all times. At all times, it's there for us to connect to. And then I'm going to say again, there's no judgment if you come from the third aspect, which is ego. We actually need our egos. We require them. Our egos stop us from walking out in front of a car. They keep us safe, but then in that very way that they keep us safe, they keep us small. They're not happy to let us take risks. They definitely don't like change. And we can be really held back by egos. And on the other side, they can totally drive us from our fears and into places that we wouldn't go to if we were depending on our intuition. So earlier this year, being driven by one of my fears, ego took over. Ego had the driving seat, and I signed up with a sales coach. I still feel there's still a bit of shame in this, and at the same time, there's no judgment. This is what happened, and this is what I'm present in. or presenting rather. So I signed up with a sales coach who herself was coming from ego. And what I noticed when I think back to that time, I was totally ungrounded. I was very much up in the drama of it all. I wasn't asking questions. I wasn't looking at the nitty-gritty, if you like. I wasn't looking at the ordinariness of life. I was up here in the dream of it, in the seduction of it, the glamour of it. And it had consequences to my business. And I'm not proud to say this, yet that's what happened. And you know, I've worked my way through this. I've been working with my supervisor, and I've been working my way through this, and the lessons, the life lessons it's given me. So I'm just looking at what I've written here. It's the consequences that are so frightening when you come from that place. So it's not the gut instinct that you have to act on. It's not the more refined energy and the more refined messages. It's the little will, the ego, I want, and it's really up here. So out of these 3 ways of being, I really would invite you to live from your authentic truth, which is the intuition, to align to your integrity, to have the effortless intention of being whole and not split, and to looking at the fears that can drive your ego. You know, allowing our intuition to assist us to make choices and decisions in our life is not a luxury. It's something that we really have to step into doing now, to really be in more of ourselves, more of our congruent self, to really show up as ourself, no matter what the reaction around us, but aligned and discerning, aware of the choices that we're making moment to moment. And that's not quite so easy in a chaotic world. So again, a daily habit would be to make your intention to live from your intuition, to be in contact with this inner world, even if it's whispers, even if it's really, you know, quite hard to hear. Making your intention, this is what I intend to do, and I commit to it just for today. And then being open and listening to the nuances that are coming towards you, and practicing and practicing and practicing. So I'm interested. I haven't got any comments so far. I'm not sure if anyone's listening. Oh, I see that I've got 6 lovely viewers. Have you got any comments? Am I missing the comments? I can't see. No. Does anyone want to share how they feel into their gut instinct and intuition. And now that they know, thank you, Amelia, now that they know where the gut instinct comes from and where the intuition comes from, whether that can make a difference in your day-to-day living. And I know a lot of people have had huge experiences with their instinct and not so much with their intuition, and all that is just coming into the finer frequencies and really committing to listening. Yeah, thank you, Caroline. It is that, no. It's absolutely that, the gut instinct. No, you're not going down there. No, that's not happening. And, you know, in a way, we need to be grounded when to really get this. Yeah, thank you, Caroline. It doesn't gel. It doesn't fit us. It is not quite fitting us. Yeah. Thank you, Maureen. Can we do anything to know whether it's ego or the heart? So again, the ego's really ungrounded. The ego isn't concerned with detail. It's concerned with the glamour of it. You know, the drama of it, the story, what it promises. And if we come back into our heart, the heart is more concerned about heart connection and how we can serve, where the ego is self-serving. So the heart is how we can serve and how we can connect and how deep that connection is, whereas the ego is disconnected, ungrounded, up here. So again, I'm going to say no judgment. It's being driven by fear or greed or jealousy. It's not a pure way of being. Yeah, Carolyn, it's like someone doesn't feel right in your gut instinct. Feel of, yes, and that, yes, thank you. So the ego, of course, is all about power, taking control, being in control, whereas the heart isn't being in control. The heart is connected to our hands, and it's about serving and healing, connecting. You know, when we touch someone, it's the connection, whereas ego is the disconnection and the consequences that come from that. The consequences of coming from your heart are deep connection and love. So it's really important to discern the differences in the three, because then we have a choice as women where we want to come from. I love these questions. Any other questions? Anything else? Yeah, love. And it's the transpersonal love too. It's the love from the universe. We are loved. We are truly loved by the universe. Yet when we're in ego, we are trying to control the universe. And it doesn't work. Yes, thank you, Angela. The heart energy is often wordless. It's that deep connection, whereas the ego is more likely to come from what our minds are telling us. And so, I mean, this is a beautiful example of how we heal and connect our heart, mind, and body. So the body is the gut instinct, the heart is our intuition, and the mind is the ego. And if we can balance these three, wow, can you imagine the sort of life you would have? Can you feel your way into that, so that it's not the ego in the driving seat? We have all three, mind, body and soul, and we are connected to the universe. And that's that. I mean, Angela knows this well, coming into that. We are the universe. You know, we can't do that with this mind. It has to come from the heart and love. And because you're here, because you're, you know, part of this awakening intuition group, you've got this. Trust yourself. You do know this. You do, on a deep, deep level, you know this. And it's just about hearing the right words, hearing something that really resonates with you, and you're going, oh yeah, of course, it's that. Anything else? Any other questions that you have, or insights? I think I've got everyone's. Yeah. And may I add, just to put in the mix here, the more we are, no judgment, Angela. The more we are in tune with nature, in tune with the seasons and the moon phases, in tune with our feelings and emotions, this becomes second nature. It's really second nature. You will live your life from this place. It's having the connection to nature, to trust in our nature, and to trust in the universe. So, are there any other questions? Because I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Yes, this word, you know, to add to the intention, the commitment, the no judgment, it's discrimination. And holding that word, holding what it means for you, discrimination, to discriminate. It's really important. And to not beat ourselves up if it doesn't pan out. I'm not going to say if we get it wrong, because we can't get it wrong, but if it doesn't pan out the way we think, you know, that could be our little ego, our little will. It's just to be curious. Oh, this is really curious. I wonder why this has happened. Let's come back to, where did I make that decision? From where did I make that choice? What did I hear? What did I intuit? And you know, did I use my discretion as to whether that fits me, that feels right? Or is it coming from that other place, from that place of ego? I think I've covered everything. Except for this, when we're in drama, when we have drama around us, there's something in it, there's a message in it. It's another way of intuiting, if you like. It's another way of the universe giving us a message. If we're surrounded in drama, then there's something not quite aligned. So, yeah, just be aware of that. And just as a Christmas offer, I want to offer, I don't normally just do one-off healings and coaching, but if you, to the end, for 30 days, I'm offering you the possibility, so to the 21st of January, offering you the possibility of a one-off healing, just to see where you intuit and find out your inner world and how you can bridge the gap between not knowing and knowing. So that's for the Awakening Intuition group only, as a thank you and as a Christmas present. And I have from Angela, I sort of feel that discrimination is about separation. So is this about when we separate ourselves from our soul? Yes. Yes. To intuit, we're intuiting our soul. So we have to be aligned to her, to the greater soul. When we separate, then we're going to be coming from ego. Then the drama's going to be happening. We're not connected, we're not congruent. So yes, and it's really, feeling that separation. So I'm throwing a lot at you in this teaching, but it's a, and I don't apologise because I'm so passionate about getting this over. Knowing when we're separating, and even I do it, even I separated at the beginning of this year. So knowing when that happens, getting that feeling when it happens, and then when it happens again, we then have a choice. Come back into centre, come back into essence, come back into non-separation, to connection, to serving others as well as ourselves. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to continue with your comments. And yeah, I just, solstice blessings. It's such a wonderful night tonight, the longest night in the year, where we can dream and dance around the fire and just breathe out and celebrate the new world that's coming, the new light that's coming tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm always open to suggestions about what to talk about in the new year. Let me know your dreamings over this very sacred time of year. And yeah, I really hope you have a wonderful time, a wonderful rest, a deep bone rest. Thank you so much. Thank you.